Hey, good stuff, family. I have a question for you. I've asked it before, but what are you up against today? What is it on this Monday that causes you a lot of anxiety? I personally find, and maybe you do as well, that inevitably, right when you start doing the really God moments in our own lives, inevitably, God weaves someone right into our paths who show us, this is what it really means to just take the next best step. People who are inspired by because they lead by example. And that's why want to introduce you to a friend of mine right now who I promise when you hear her story and you hear her attitude, this contagious hope. She is hope. She's gratitude, and she's a warrior. She's a warrior. The short version is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer just about 4 weeks ago. Healthy runner. And now, as if I couldn't have loved her more before, I want to introduce you now to, here, let me pull her up right here, Laura Pizmoht. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, oh, thank goodness. The last time we tried this, we had a little glitch, but it was perfect because this is what you do. Like, you want to talk about curveballs in your life in the last 4 weeks. So just walk me into the life that you were living. You have many titles and 3 beautiful kids. And 4 weeks ago, kind of how your world took a different turn.
My life changed completely 4 weeks ago. Yeah, so I have 3 kids. I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, and 8-year-old. They're really busy in sports. I'm driving them around. I'm coaching. I love helping them, obviously, and watching them grow up. And in between all of the tasks that come with raising my kids, I'm an assistant county prosecutor in Ashtabula County, working really hard to help help all the officials there and get the government working in proper order out there. And it's super fun. I love my job. And I'm a runner, and I run for fun. I used to be competitive, but now I just run for fun. But one day running, I just realized that I was in a lot of pain in my abdomen. I was getting cold sweats when I'd run, and it was just out of nowhere. That this happened. And then I went to see my doctor, and we thought maybe it was something like irritable bowel syndrome, which is, pretty common among professional, busy women with a lot of stress in their lives. So we thought maybe it was that, but it ended up getting worse and worse. And I talked to my doctor, and she thought maybe I had gallstones. So I went to get an ultrasound for gallstones, and rather than finding any gallstones, the ultrasound found 4 lesions on my liver that appeared to be metastasized cancer. And they also found a very large mass growing in the back of my abdomen. And that was the most shocking news I think I've ever had in my life. I had no idea that I had cancer like that. And to have it metastasized and be stage 4 cancer, cancer, I had no idea. It just completely rocked my world when I found out that I probably.
Laura, I don't know if you can hear me. I had me muted to avoid any kind of interference. So I think it must be an internet connection. I see you're stilled again. And I'm going to just say right now, because that's the first part of the story. And often the best, maybe she'll come back here. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But I want to say this second time trying. The best laid plans, right? So the best, we've said it before, the best good stuff often comes from the really crappy stuff, like the stuff like that diagnosis that she just explained. But this woman who ran marathons, young, 3 kids, 12, 11, and 8, the example that she's setting in, I shouldn't even try to put into words. She inspires me so much, like no looking back, full speed ahead. Even the nurses at Seidman Cancer Center, fantastic. University Hospital's fantastic cancer hospital there several times over. she posts pictures of all of the staff there. It looks like I mean, she's obviously in a hospital bed, but it looks like they just had lunch, bunch of friends, after her first round of chemo. And she's home now for, I think, 3 weeks and then starts back for 6. So she is warrioring on. In her post, what I'll do is include a link. Here she is back. I'll include a link to her Facebook page too. I see you.
Hi.
I just kept talking, hoping the internet gods would return you to us, and there we go. But I almost love that. I shouldn't say I love, it's a little frustrating, but I'm not really surprised that it's a perfect example to work with right now. Hey, guess what? Sometimes things don't go as planned.
Well, absolutely. 4 weeks ago, that certainly happened to me. Life did not go as planned.
Yes. So we heard that how your world turned just on a dime with that diagnosis. How do you pronounce the cancer that you were diagnosed with, stage 4?
So I have stage 4 leiomyosarcoma, which is a cancer of the smooth muscle, and we believe that it emanated out of my a vein called the inferior vena cava vein, which is a major vein running down in my back.
Yeah.
That's why the tumor is way back in the back of my abdomen. It's a very rare cancer. It's an aggressive cancer, but somehow, some way, I have it.
And I was kind of filling in the gaps till you came back, but would you share with the Good Stuff family the things that you share with your Facebook family, instead of the woe is me? Like, I mean, look at you. You look stunning. You look stunning. You've just been through a round of chemo.
Yep.
I think attitude is everything, is it not?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a week ago, Dawn, I guess we'll say 8 days ago. So 8 days ago, I was laying on the floor in my bathroom in my hospital room, just sick as a dog after getting my first round of chemotherapy. That was really challenging. It feels like a miracle that I'm sitting here today feeling like you have to be reminded that I have cancer. I feel really great. But yeah, I think that I went into the hospital. I'm going into this, and I tell my kids this, that we're going to make this the best we can make it, no matter what it is, whether it's the worst outcome that we don't want, obviously, to the best outcome, whatever it is, we're going to make it the best that we can make it. So maybe I have to show my kids how to die gracefully. Maybe hopefully I don't, but maybe I have to show my kids how to deal with, the uncertainty and the fear, the loss of control, letting things go, and just going with the flow for a long time through it till we get through it, and showing them how to fight, and how to fight things in a way where a lot of the fight is just waiting and getting through it and just white knuckling, not doing anything. I mean, I had that epiphany in the hospital, like the fight isn't about being active and like taking charge like it is in many other facets of life. The fight here is just hanging on, and just wading through it, and knowing that, yeah, I'm laying on the floor in my bathroom puking.
I can't even believe it. Oh, there, you froze for a minute, but you're back. I hear you. I just don't see you moving your lips. Do you still hear me, Laura? There you are. In this case, if we just hear you, it'll be like a podcast. But I hear everything that you're saying, and I saved some of these posts that you did on Facebook. 1 month ago, I could run for an hour in the sweltering heat on my favorite trails. I was worried about things like whether I was up to the task of head coaching a little girls soccer team. Are you there still with me? Oh, for the love of all that's good. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to just say this. Some days, and maybe some of you will think I'm crazy, but I'm like, you know what? You know what? Get behind me. Get behind me, all the bad stuff, not today. And that's really what Laura says every day. Not today. I'm not giving into the negative. So this is clearly a technical glitch with Wi-Fi, probably. And now she's gone for good. So I see several people are listening. I hope you get the point. And you know what I'm going to do? If she is allowed to have guests with a mask on, I'm going to go do this live with her. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can meet her kids. You can meet her husband, Mike. It's a family thing. Like she posts these pictures of these hugs. Oh my gosh. Outside the hospital when she was allowed to come outside of Seidman. And she's the things that she wrote, even if you're not a parent, oh my gosh, you can so relate to it. Let's see. Yeah. She posted this red dress, which you'll see in the thumbnail picture, because of all the things she does. Besides being assistant prosecutor in Ashtabula County, she's also vice president of Lake Humane, a great organization, and another great organization near and dear to our heart, which is the Andy Nowacki Foundation. She's a board member for that. And now here she is back. This is exactly how it should be, I guess. You know what? Look, I remember I told this morning we were talking, I'm like, oh no, you get behind me. Right? I've just done that twice. So
what do you do? What do you do?
Say that the good stuff stories are real, raw, vulnerable, and authentic, and this was raw and real. Look, it's an analogy for life. It just really
Absolutely.
is. And when something like this happens, look, I picture it right here, and I go,
exactly.
Bye-bye.
When you have stage 4 cancer, who cares about your internet connection problems?
Thank you. See, and there it is. There it is. Like, so maybe it was all meant to be this way, the way that we're coming to you today. So for me, like a career change that wasn't expected, right? Okay, I'm taking a page from the books of the good stuff people like you. I started reading some of these posts. Like we mentioned that you are on the Andy Nowacki Foundation, a board member for that. They just had their gala. Tell me, anyone who watches this will see this thumbnail picture of you in that gorgeous dress, looking like a teenager going to prom. Tell me the story how that happened in your hospital room and why you chose to wear the red dress.
So the Andy Nowacki Gala is one of my favorite events every year. It's for a great cause. Andy Nowacki died in combat, and his family is a Gold Star family, and they started a foundation in his memory. And what they do is they raise funds to give scholarships to people who want to become police officers, firefighters, or nurses. And the gala raises tons of money for this great cause, and it's very fun. And unfortunately, the gala this year was scheduled for the day after my first round of chemo was to be over, so I certainly wasn't going to be able to attend. However, I had rented a dress from Rent the Runway, and it came, even though I canceled it and they refunded me, but the dress still came in the mail. So my husband brought it up to my hospital room so I could try it on just to see, just for fun. And as I was posing and he was taking pictures, a group of 5 male doctors walked in the room to go over my CT scan results. And I was sitting there like this. And they walk in and like, hey guys.
I'm sure they didn't see that. Of all the rounds they did, no one else had that dress on, I'm sure.
No, I was totally mortified. I was totally embarrassed, but they were just, they just rolled with the punches, and and I said, do you want me to change? And they said, absolutely not. And one of them said, this is an iconic moment. You should get a picture of this. So there's a picture too of me looking at my CT scan results in my formal dress.
In your beautiful, like, backless dress. It was really, if a picture's worth 1,000 words. Again, with the technical difficulties, one was not able to put it into this feed. Can you manually, the old-fashioned way, show us
Sure.
the picture?
Yeah, let's see if I
Real, raw, and genuine. Here we go. The production is real. Look at you. Look at you. It's worth 1,000 words, that picture, right? And then they came in and they took a picture of you from behind, looking at this monitor that was explaining to you exactly what you're up against, and you did it looking like this. And the best of princesses.
Yeah, like I said, it felt a little like, whoa, but it was really fun. And and it really showed how great my doctors were too, because they were super into it and thought it was great and fun and wanted to really make it a special moment too. So, it just goes to show the team at Seidman Cancer Center, who absolutely deserve a plug. They helped make this experience. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks that 2 weeks was, I could actually say, fun. It was terrible at times, don't get me wrong, but there were more fun times than terrible times for sure. The team was amazing.
I've seen it time and time again at Seidman.
Amazing.
Like they
Yeah.
treat the whole patient. Here they have this world class medical team, right? Especially at Seidman for cancer, but they never forget. In my experience, I've seen that they don't forget the person, not just the body that they're treating.
Oh, I made friends, Dawn. I made friends with my nurses, with the people who cleaned my room. Twyla and Jason, hi. They were amazing, absolutely amazing. I miss them. You know, I was sad to leave the hospital to a certain extent. You know, I really just got to know these people, they got to know me, and we just had a great time. And you know, I will be forever grateful. And honestly, just have the fondest memories of that 2 weeks.
Yeah. The same story we just did a little bit ago with Timmy Tusick, who was this 21-year-old cancer warrior. Doctors were surprised that he was even alive when he came in for the diagnosis.
Wow.
And he rang the bell a year early. And he said to us, you know, when I talked to him before that, he's like, there was this woman named Pat, and she came and she would like empty my garbage, and I don't know her last name, but she said something to me. She said, honey, I'm a cancer survivor, and I just woke up every day with a huge smile, the gift of being able to wake up. And when he
Yeah.
tells me that, like, you got to find this Pat, right? So we set out. It didn't take long because the two women who were so good to me when I had knee surgery there came. I called them up and I said, they were like the post-op, right, working, and I learned their stories. I said, can you help me find Pat, who was on Simon, whatever floor, fourth floor? Found her, and then we brought her in when he
Aw,
rang the bell, and he's like, this is Pat. I'm like, I know. I was
that's
like,
so
this
great.
is
Oh
but
no,
that's
even the people who transported me to get scans, I mean, everybody, they were just so great. And I made a point too of wanting to get to know them all and wanting to understand what their jobs are, and how they're there to help the patients, and just everything about it. I just tried to learn as much as I possibly could, and I tried just about the people, and about the procedures, and like about healthcare in general. I mean, everything. I just went in with like total curiosity, total openness to this experience, and just trying to really, in a weird way, savor it, you know. And like I said, make the most out of whatever I had to work with, you know.
You know what, Laura, it occurs to me too, while their job there is to save your life, your job, even though you would never have scripted being there, but your job was to uplift and encourage them. Like they, I'm sure, saw your spirit, and then you encouraged them, I'm sure, by
I hope,
your example, right?
yeah, I really hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really tough time to be in healthcare right now. Even at Sidemen, they're understaffed. There's not enough, a lot of people are burning out in this profession, and so yeah, I also was cognizant of that and wanting to make sure that I did everything I could to not add to the stresses that they had, and to make sure that they were aware how much I appreciated them, and how important their work is on every level.
Yeah. And you have three kids who are learning by your example. Not only were you like their soccer coach and all this, now whatever you taught them, soccer skills, the lessons that you're teaching them, like I can't even give me a window into those pictures you posted, or you got to come outside and give them a
Oh,
hug.
yeah.
Like,
So right now with the COVID restrictions, kids can't come in to visit. So only 18 and over can visit you in the hospital right now at UH, and only one at a time. So that would have been another issue. So for the 2 weeks I was in Sidemen, I didn't get to see my kids except for one time when my nurses arranged with my husband for me to meet them outside. So my husband packed them up to go to school, and he told them that the route to school was closed and they had to take an alternate route. And then he drove them straight to Sidemen, and I was hiding in the little garden.
no.
And my nurse helped them and brought them down to see me, and I surprised them, and it was amazing. It was so great. It was right in the middle of the stay. I totally needed it. It was hard to not see them for 2 weeks, but I got to give them each a hug and talk to them and see them for a little while. And it really helped to get me through. So it was great.
All I keep thinking is you're in your 40s, right?
Yep. I'm 46.
46. This purpose-driven life that you're on, not just to be a mom and a wife to Mike, but now to inspire, hopefully, anyone who's within earshot of this, hopefully they share it as well, that here's the deal. Whatever we are up against, right? You fill in what you hope people, fill in the rest of that sentence for people who are watching. Anything short of or up to and including a diagnosis like this. What, Laura? What?
So what my purpose is?
Yeah, what you would say to them, like that. I believe that your purpose-driven life includes the example you're setting right now. Again, it's like the stuff that we would not and could not have scripted, and I see the best good stuff coming out of that. So, what would you like to say? You have the ears of these people right now
Okay.
who could learn so much, like I did. What do you say to them with whatever you're up against? Everybody, up short of or up to what you're going through. What is it? What would you share with them from
I
experience?
think that it's really important to remember what is in your control and what's not in your control. So I think that for me, that was one of the first things I had to do is once I learned I probably had cancer and that it was obviously bad if it spread to my liver, that I needed to remember that what was out of my control and what was in my control. And what's in my control is my attitude. What's in my control is my determination, is making every moment something, teaching my children through this, teaching other people through this, learning about other people, opening myself up and trying to do as much as I can with the time I have. That is in my control. I'm sorry, but what's not in my control is the medical processes, right? Is what the doctors and the nurses do. That's not in my control. So I don't micromanage what they do. I don't second guess what they do. That's their job, right? And then also the help that I get, right? It's hard to ask for help and it's hard to need help. It's a struggle I have, and I think a lot of us have, but that's in my control too, to open myself up to the help, whether it be the medical people or my friends and family to pitch in and help us, because obviously we really need it right now. And then lastly, there's a line where us humans, we can't do more. And that part is where God's in control. And so I have to remember that God's ultimately in control. So sorry, whether it's I only have a short time left or I have a long time left, much of that is out of my control and the doctor's control and anybody else's control. That's up to God, and I have to respect that completely and open myself up to that and accept it. So I'm trying to radically accept that part, especially that what's in God's control is in God's control, and that's it. And I'm completely open to whatever that is. Trying to be.
This is exactly why I love you so much,
Oh,
right?
thank
Because this is, if ever, none of us know that we're going to get tomorrow. Really? I know that sounds so glum,
I could die
glim,
else.
totally. And if you don't believe that after a year like 2020 and still what we're seeing. So to say, while we're here, like if we don't get tomorrow, what do we do today? Like, do we do one thing to uplift, encourage, and inspire someone? That's what you're doing. That's what I'm hoping, even with the technical difficulties, which I think even in hindsight were meant to happen.
Hopefully those entertained people.
Right. At one point when I couldn't see you, I was like, oh, for gosh sake. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to just
Said
talk
some
to you.
bad words too. I hope
I'm going to
that
talk.
the mic wasn't on.
And then you popped up, and look, it's been perfect ever since. But look at the lesson right there. One
Yeah.
step at a time. Okay, what's the next best thing you can do today?
Right.
That's
And
what
like
we're saying.
8 days ago, I was laying on the floor of my hospital bathroom. And here I am today, feeling fine. I took a shower. I did my hair. I put makeup on. I straightened up my house a little bit. I'm living I almost feel normal today. It's amazing. It's just, today might be difficult, but it's this whole thing is an exercise in faith in so many levels.
There
So,
it is.
so much. It's about having faith in myself, faith in my team, my medical team, faith in my friends and family, faith in God, faith in the future, that things will work out. It's just, there's so many, so it's always about, it always comes back to that issue. I think it's always about faith and just holding on to that. And it's not about faith for a good outcome, because I can't control that, right? I can't just say it's going to be cured. That's not really it. I have to. I feel like you have to be much more open to other possibilities to really be at peace about it. Otherwise, I think being too focused on getting it cured or having that good outcome is actually kind of counterproductive to feeling good.
But hope is what you have, and it's realistic and it's real and it's raw, but it's full of hope. And the some of those stories from when I was in the news world, and even now, I'm like, really, God, really, like, if we live to be 1,000, we're not going to have the answer this side of heaven. But it occurs to me that the one thing that's for sure is that we all have today. If
Right.
we're living and talking, we have today. So what
Right.
do you do with it while we're here to shore up what's for us when we finally might understand some of this, not this side of heaven, we won't, but to look back and say, yeah, you know what? I did well. I did
Yeah.
well no matter what came. And that's what you do. And I feel like I just want to like hold you up, like almost like the Lion King, and say, just hold you up in prayer and be like, Father God, like the almighty physician, just work your magic. And in the meantime, I'm telling him thank you in gratitude for the example that you're setting. Some people will live to be 100 years old and never have that kind of effect on people. 11-year-old Colin. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I really try not to do, and this reminded me of that, is I try not to think, why me? Because that's not a question I can answer. That's a God question, and it's not something I can answer, and I'm not going to be angry because it's not my choice, right? So I'm just not going to be angry about it, because this is what I have, and it's either, I'm going to look at it like a gift, right? So I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to say, why me? But at the same time, I'm going to laugh about that it is me, and how I feel like I'm some character in some weird Netflix show about unlucky people or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just not going to go down into the why me's. I just don't think there's a good answer for that, and that just is a bad way to go. It just leads to nothing good.
In like holding on to unforgiveness and stuff, we give
Right.
more energy. So, all right, you're like, here's what I'm up against. I'm going to throw everything positive towards it. Right.
Right.
Because
I'm
to
going to
do
make it the
anything
best.
less. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to make it whatever it is. I'm going to make it the best I can make it. Whether I'm laying on the floor in the bathroom in my hospital room, or I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm going to make it the best I can make it. Everything that I'm trying to do. So, and if whether I'm just sitting and watching TV with my kids, I'm just going to try to make everything the best I can make it, just through this time and through the rest of the time I have.
And we're going to wrap things up, but it's not lost on me either that you showed me that even though you're warrioring through today and you look amazing, you have this port that's part of your life right now in your arm, right?
Well, it's called a PICC line. There's a debate whether I'm going to go get a port.
Here, I'm gonna get rid of the banner. Hang on one second. One moment, please. And then now we can. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's called a PICC line. So, and it goes in like by my elbow, and it goes all the way up my arm, and it goes straight to my heart. And so the chemo goes through it, and it protects my vein. So it's kind of gross, but the chemo goes straight into my heart and then circulates through my body and fights the good fight that way. So
when you told me that on the phone and described it, I thought, I'm such a weenie. I don't know that I could, like, but I guess, you know what? Life comes at you and you just adapt and you go.
exactly.
So, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And these are for my nausea. So these are C-bands bracelets, and they do acupressure, and they help me not throw up.
Yeah.
But they're stylish too, right?
Well, anything you wear it well, especially the red dress in the hospital. I love that. It's so classic, your personality. So I wanted to just wrap up then with saying So here's what I proposed. So now that you've met Laura, maybe you're watching, you already know her and you know what a dynamo she is, but follow you on Facebook, I would say, right? Can they? Can
Sure.
people
Yeah, of
follow you?
course. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And I'm going to put the banner back up so they can see how to spell your name. And here's what I propose for myself included. Like today, I'm going to go for a run on my Kanga hoppers because I can't run regularly because of knee surgery from a cadaver ACL that someone was nice enough to donate. So
Amazing.
it wasn't life saving, but it was lifestyle saving. And I'm so thankful for that person, which is another huge passion of mine, donate life. But I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with you in mind. Like offering it all up. Like if I could send you some energy, right? I'm going to
Oh,
see the quick line and I'm going to say no excuses. And so that's what I'm hoping if you hear this, whatever it is you have, it's not to diminish. Everyone has something, but let's just all pledge to put it all in perspective. Like if we do our best today, good enough. And then we'll take on tomorrow.
perfect. I love it.
I love you, my friend.
I love you too.
bless.
Thank you.